What is up, family? I am so glad to be back once again. Sorry I've been gone so long. It's been about 6 months or so, but I am back again, guys. Hopefully you guys checked out my last video, kind of discussing exactly where I have been, what I have been doing, but here we are. I am back again. So happy Monday to all of you out there. Today is May the 5th of 2025. So happy Monday, or should I say happy Cinco de Mayo. Yes, today is Cinco de Mayo, and some of you may be celebrating this today, and some of you may not be. But my question is, if you are celebrating today, what do you plan on doing? Are you planning on having a few margaritas? Are you planning on having some street tacos? I know me, myself, I'm not necessarily a margarita person. However, I will be having a few drinks just to celebrate and just be amongst other people during Cinco de Mayo. So again, guys, yes, today is official celebration of Cinco de Mayo, but I would love to get your thoughts on that. So if you are celebrating, please go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you are going to be doing today in celebration of Cinco de Mayo. Are you going to be having some margaritas? Are you planning on having 5 margaritas, or are you ordering a margarita machine, or are you just planning on simply staying at home and eating a few tacos? Or if you don't celebrate at all, I would love to get your thoughts on that as well. But either way it goes, definitely comment down below. Let me know how you plan to celebrate today, or if this is just a regular day for you. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the first topic of today. Over the weekend, we heard from President Donald Trump, in which he made a specific order ordering them to reopen the federal prison called Alcatraz. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a famous prison that is in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is about 1.2 miles off the coast of San Francisco. And Donald Trump has ordered this prison to reopen once again. Now, why is he trying to reopen this Alcatraz, considering that it is more of a tourist attraction right now? Well, as you know, he ran on the idea of securing the border, in which he wants to lock up these illegal immigrants that have migrated into this country, specifically referring to the bad criminals, and he wants to have a place to put these particular criminals at, and he wants to lock them up in prisons. Yes, he wants to incarcerate these particular individuals, and he wants to do it by using Alcatraz to house some of these most ruthless and violent criminals in the United States right now. And I want to go ahead and play this little clip for you real quick.
Well, it's not going to stop here, that's for sure, Rich. One judge is not going to stop the will of the American people. The American people made loud and clear on November 5th, 2024, that they were done with open borders. They want a secure homeland, which is exactly what President Trump and Secretary Noem are delivering. The Alien Enemies Act, though, is just one tool in our arsenal to get these criminal illegal aliens out of this country. Again, we have the facts, we have the law on our side, and this is just one battle, but we're going to win the war against this invasion of our country.
Yeah, you mentioned it's just one tool. How much does removing this one tool in this one district hamper efforts? How much have you guys relied on that law?
This is just to expedite, especially getting these very vicious, worst of the worst criminal aliens out of the country. But Rich, there are deportation flights almost every single day. So we're going to keep on moving, but we know President Trump has faced a historic number of injunctions. So we need every tool in our arsenal to make sure that we don't face these activist judges and ACLUs and other organizations that are trying to undermine the will of the American people. And we want to get these violent criminals off of American soil as quickly and in an expedited mission as possible.
So yeah, as you can see, that Donald Trump is continuing to move forward with the deportation, or locking the individuals that are violent criminals in this country, locking them up, and he wants to have more room, more space, and he doesn't necessarily want to put them in our local prison systems. He wants to put them far, far away, and so that is why he is ordering for Alcatraz to reopen once again. And this is going to cause a lot of frustrations with a lot of people, especially tourists, especially individuals that actually work at Alcatraz because, like I stated, that it is operating as a tourist attraction right now. And yes, we can see right here that this particular prison used to be back in 1939. This was called Alcatraz Island, in which you can see sort of a high level view of this particular location. But this is a very popular, iconic San Francisco attraction and important historical site. Right now, according to statistics, they receive around 1.6 million visitors annually, and it generates about $60 million a year in revenue for park partners. And so the site was an active prison until the 1960s, in which it was actually closed, and then it was closed down for a very long time. And I believe it actually reopened sometime in later 2000s or so, and now generating a large sum of money, which if they're generating a large sum of money, that means that a lot of people are traveling to this particular area, visiting Alcatraz, which also means that a lot of individuals have jobs at this particular location. Now, those individuals, if they open it up to be more of a prison once again, those individuals will actually lose their jobs. So this is going to potentially affect a lot of people. And obviously, Trump is pretty much, he is sold on the idea of making this once again a prison in which he hosts some of the worst criminals in the world. So we'll just have to see how this all plays out. But anyways, moving on, we also want to talk about what came out over the weekend. Trump made another announcement related to the tariffs in this country, in which now he is going after movies that are not made in the United States. Check this out right here, where Trump is now saying that non-US movies are going to be hit with 100% tariffs. This is going to affect the movie industry for everyone outside of the United States. Yes, Donald Trump says that he will hit films made in foreign countries with 100% tariffs as he ramps up his tariff trade disputes with nations around the world, specifically those individuals that are going against him and trying to team up against the United States and Trump's tariffs. The U.S. president said that he was authorizing the Department of Commerce and Trade representative to start the process to impose the levy because America's film industry was dying very, very fast to a very fast death, according to Donald Trump. He blamed a concerted effort by other countries that offer incentive to attract filmmakers and studios, which he described as a national security threat. Filmmakers have for years left Hollywood for destinations including the UK and Canada for lower costs to produce movies. And one non-US union said that the tariff plan would be a knockout blow to the international industry of movies. Trump said on his Truth Social platform over the weekend. He said, look, it is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. We want movies made in America again. Make American movies great again, according to Donald Trump. But anyways, guys, that is just the latest in regards to the tariffs that are placed on multiple countries around the world, affecting the entire U.S. economy as well as other international economies as well. These tariffs that Trump has been pushing for over the last 100 days or so is really affecting the entire world globally. But Trump believes that it is going to make the promises in which he promised the American people, it is going to make good on United States of America. So he is continuing to push the tariffs, not just with these other countries in regards to movies, but he is still hammering it very hard on China. China still has not changed anything as of yet. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but some of the other news that came out over the weekend, in which we heard from one of the greatest investors in the world, and that is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett had his annual meeting that he does every year in Nebraska, and he told the American people and those investors that were participating in this event, he announced that he is retiring. Not this month, but his end date will be at the end of this year. So yes, Warren Buffett, we all know that over the past 6 months or so, because he knew that President Trump was entering into the office and he already knew what his plan was, which was in regards to raising tariffs on all other countries, which is pretty much a trade war. And Warren Buffett has been pretty much selling everything, all of his assets, over the last 6 months or so. But yes, over the weekend during that meeting, he announced his retirement, and he also put out a very stark warning that this trade war that Donald Trump is starting will really hurt America. Now, Trump does not necessarily agree with this. He believes that this is going to make America great again, but the world's greatest investor, he says otherwise. Take a look at this right here. He is warning that the trade war is not healthy for America, and it in fact will do the opposite. It will actually hurt America. As you can see, that Warren Buffett, which is the greatest investor in the world of all times, he wants the United States to knock off its trade war with other countries, specifically with China. He said in a statement, look, trade should not be a weapon. It should not be used as a weapon, according to the billionaire investor and the Berkshire Hathaway CEO. He said this on Saturday morning at his annual shareholder meeting in Omaha, Nebraska. He said that, look, the United States should be looking to trade with the rest of the world. We should do what we do best, and they should do what they do best, according to Warren Buffett. He told the crowds of thousands of people in the downtown arena, and they all broke into a loud applause, applauding him for this particular statement, which you all know that a lot of people are not in favor of this trade war, of the way that these tariffs are being introduced to all these other countries, specifically China. 145% tariffs on China, which we get majority of our products from. But yes, Warren Buffett, he did not specifically mention President Trump's name, but we all know who exactly he is referring to, which recently Donald Trump issued a sweeping new amount of tariffs, which has ignited a basic global trade war. Yes, Warren Buffett is not a fan of this, which he kind of saw the red lines on the tape prior to everyone else. Prior to Trump coming into office in February, he saw all of this and how it could play out. And that is why he started selling off all of his holdings, everything that he was invested in, from the Apple stock to coal stock to everything else out there. He has been on a mass rampant selling phase over the last 6 months or so. And in hindsight, we see that this is why this is the best investor in the world. I mean, he was able to sell everything before the major crash that we saw during the months of March throughout the months of April. And so he saved a lot of money because he saved majority of his holdings. So kudos to Warren Buffett. Again, he is worth billions of dollars, I believe somewhere around the 100 to 200 billion dollars, and he didn't necessarily receive a large downgrade in regards to all of the stocks losing their value because of these tariffs. But again, like I said, Warren Buffett said that this is not good. This is not healthy for America to have a trade war, because we need to be partnering with every other country out there, and he is just not a fan of this. He said that he is frustrated with what's going on, and right now he is pretty much exiting the game. He actually also announced that the person that will be taking over as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, as he continues to transition into stepping down and moving into retirement at the age of 94 years old. Warren Buffett is a GOAT. He is a GOAT in the investment industry. And guys, he is an icon in the investment world. If you guys are familiar with anything that Warren Buffett has done or what he has created in the financial community, everyone bow down to Warren Buffett. He will definitely remain as an icon, specifically as he sold everything off, just about 90% of all of his holdings, before the economic meltdown, which we all know that this was kind of caused by the Trump administration introducing these tariffs on all of these international companies and countries. So again, we definitely want to give our kudos to Warren Buffett. But again, he is not a fan of these tariffs that have been placed on other countries. It is hurting all of us. It is hurting me. I would only assume it is going to hurt you out there. We are just going to be able to buy less from what we were buying before, because the prices, we just can't afford them anymore if they are implementing this 145% increase in products coming from China, such as Apple. They have made changes saying that these new tariffs is going to cost them around $900 billion. However, they have made investments in the United States. They are going to build a new plant, a warehouse to build the iPhones in the United States to make America great again. Also, they are going to make the iPhones, which is their number one product that they make. They are going to start making that in the United States. So that is going to create jobs. So that is some positive news. But they are in return going to lose around $900 billion because of making this. But they want to be on the good side in relation to Donald Trump and the Trump administration. So they are making the necessary changes. It is going to affect them in the near term, but hopefully they're going to make up for it in the long term. But the question is this going to cost the American people more money? Is the iPhone going to cost more than the traditional price of around $1,000 to $1,200? Is it now going to boost prices up because it is no longer made in China? That is going to affect the American people. I don't know necessarily if people are going to be willing to pay $1,500 to $1,800 to purchase their next iPhone. Is this going to affect Apple's bottom line? Also, Samsung's bottom line. If Samsung devices are made outside of the country, having to import them into the country with tariffs, that is no longer going to be able to afford those as well. So we'll just have to see how this all plays out, guys. So, but anyways, last but not least, strategists are saying that this trade war is not the best thing. However, they are a little bit optimistic in which how this could look within the next 6 to 12 months or so. Take a look at this right here, where it says that strategists are optimistic on China, even as the United States and China trade war continues to climb and go where we never expected it to go. We did receive some good news over the weekend from China, which we still don't know how that is going to play out, but it does look like China is opening up the door to potential discussions with the United States and the Trump administration to figure out how we can come to a medium in regards to these tariffs and this trade war that is going on. Right now, China is the biggest player in relation to the trade war. Some of the other countries have already conceded, saying that they will meet Trump's terms, in which I believe there is around $19 billion that is expected to be invested in the United States, which is what Trump wants, but he wants China to get on board. Strategists, they're saying that this could actually might work, but there needs to be a few things in play in order for this to work. It says right here that as financial markets pin their hopes on a de-escalation in the United States and China trade war, some experts are cautioning that meaningful progress in striking a deal between the world's two largest economies may still be some ways far off. Either tariffs are cut to more levels of both sides that they can meet together, put more exclusions on the table to make tariffs effectively and less binding, according to one senior investment strategist, saying that, look, for now, signs of these are very sparse because the pain threshold has not been reached as of yet, adding that the outlook for the Chinese economy is still looking very positive. China recently said that it was at a U.S. proposal to resume trade talks over Washington's 145% tariff increase. It has also created a list of U.S. made products for exemption from its 125% retaliatory tariffs. According to a portfolio manager, Janice, what they said that Trump will need to respond if the threat of a recession increases significantly, which the equity markets, dollar, and the treasuries arguably are beginning to point towards a potential recession. This could lead America down the wrong path. This is not what Donald Trump was expected to happen in relation to the tariffs. Donald Trump was hoping and wishing that once he made the announcement of these tariffs, he was thinking that every other country, including China, would actually meet his demands. But in fact, it was actually the opposite. Actually, China was actually encouraging others to get together to go against the United States, in which that is what pretty much caused this trade war to actually occur. Yes, as you can see right here, this particular message came out a month or so ago, in which China said that we want other countries and us, China, to unite together and go against Donald Trump. But unfortunately, that didn't necessarily go well. It was met with a little bit of weariness, in which other countries were a little bit weary on how whether or not they had enough power to go against Donald Trump and the United States, because they are the biggest powerhouse. But China is probably the only country that's big enough and bad enough to go against the United States. Beijing is using a mix of carrots and sticks to try to prevent other countries from siding with the United States in isolating China to be by themselves. China and Beijing was saying that, look, we will support you if you team up with us. We can be even bigger and we can force the United States to work with us versus we bowing down to Trump's demands and working with them. China's top leader, Xi, and his subordinates are mounting a diplomatic full court press to try to persuade other countries not to cave to the pressure from Trump administration and the tariffs, hoping to show that China will not be isolated in the trade war. But unfortunately, that did not go the way that China was hoping and expecting it to go. Other countries like India, they actually went over and met with Donald Trump, and they actually made a deal with the United States on how much they would invest in the country and that how they would work together. And those particular tariffs on India were actually dropped because they made a deal. So that is the biggest thing right now, whether or not China will meet or come to an agreement with the United States to figure this thing out in regards to getting some more appropriate tariffs amongst both parties, so that we can make a deal together to get the United States and other countries and spending and buying and shipping back to somewhat of a normalcy. As you can see right here, China said over the weekend that they are now evaluating the different offers on the table with the United States to figure out how they can come together and make this thing work. These tariffs, they don't help anybody, but we need to figure out a resolution. We cannot just sit here and not figure out a way to get things to work for both of us. So take a look at this right here.
China says it is reviewing proposals from the United States to begin trade talks. That is according to a statement from China's Commerce Ministry spokesperson. These comments signal a shift in tone. Since last week, Trump has claimed several times that his administration was in talks with Chinese officials to strike a trade deal. Beijing denied Trump's claim each time. Beijing reiterated today that any negotiations would require some preconditions to be met, namely for Trump's tariff hikes to be canceled.
So yeah, like I said, this is some good news that came out over the weekend. Now, a lot of people are trying to figure out whether or not this is actually real news, because prior to this announcement coming out over the weekend from China, Donald Trump has been taunting that China has already said that they were ready to make a deal. But China kept coming out and saying that is fake news. That is a lie. We have not said anything of any sort whatsoever. So Trump was trying to make it seem like about 2 to 3 weeks ago that China was ready to come to the table to talk to the Trump administration to make a deal to figure out what exactly going on. So the stock market has been going up ever since. But the reality is China has never made any type of comment whatsoever. But until this weekend, China has officially came out and stated, I believe it was on Friday, but China said that they are now willing to evaluate all of the offers on the table that has been introduced by the United States to figure out which option could potentially work the best for China. And so now, over the next week or so, they're going to be reviewing this, and they may actually agree to meeting with Donald Trump and the Trump administration to have this discussion to figure out what is the best way to end this trade war, to end these ridiculous 145% tariffs placed on products being imported into the United States. But again, guys, I come to you. What do you guys think about this? I know a lot of you are very upset about what's going on with the trade wars and how it is affecting the American people, this economy, how people's 401ks have pretty much drastically dropped 10 to 15%. How do you feel about this? Are you excited to hear that China is willing and ready to meet with the United States to figure out some type of solution? I would love to get your thoughts on this. Please take the time to comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this, how it has affected you and your family, and what do you see moving forward? Do you believe that this will actually happen, or do you believe that the country will just continue to suffer while Trump is in office? I would love to get your thoughts on this, but again, comment down below. Outside of all of that, if you haven't already, please hit the like button for me and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys on the next video, and happy Cinco de Mayo.